to take a video of this to explain the history of this car and everything about it, because the pictures aren't going to show it, because it's not in perfect shape. It's not anywhere close to it. It's been stored for quite some time, but I drove it up here to where it's sitting at. See, now what happened is, it has a lot of new parts on it. The timing belt was probably done under 1,000 miles ago. So I've had this car for probably 14 years now, and it's never left me sitting. In fact, I've driven it, like long distances multiple times. And about 2 years ago, I bought an Infiniti G35, a 2003 6-speed coupe. So I stopped driving this. And around the same time, I had the timing belt done, and I never drove it again. There's a lot of new parts, like the alternator's new, the battery's new, the master cylinder's new, but it is starting to rust in places. The tires are pretty much like new. I don't know if you can see it with the thing. It hasn't been driven much since at all in the last 5 to 10, probably 5 years. It hasn't been driven that much. Like, see some of the stuff like it has. I think the body kit on it's called a Xenon. See how it hangs on the door right there? There's a little piece of it missing. I think it's called a Xenon body kit, like Xenon, like the headlights. I think that's the name of it. So like right there is where it's resting. Probably resting a little bit back here. Right there. Paint's coming off right there. It has a Magnaflow tip exhaust. It has a hollowed out cat, which helps with the turbo, even though this car is not fast. Like, I don't think it is. I put those decals on it. See some of the issues it has, but it does have its issues. The seat is terrible. I used to have a cover for it, but it doesn't, cover wore out and I can't find another cover for it. Like, that's what the interior looks like. Those things right there, the climate, or the, what's that, mile per gallon and compass do not work. It does come with the Kenwood flare. The climate control, I don't think the lights and that come on. The digital dash is starting to have the issue. In fact, since it's been sitting for 6 months, it's really having the issue now where the the digital dash power supply needs to be taken out and cleaned, because the dash works if you tap on it with that's what that deodorant can's for right there. I tap on it with that and it comes on, but the longer it sits, the worse it gets. It needs the connections clean. The air conditioner works, the seat moves up and back and forth, the voice works in the car, and it's not inspected because it has not been driven. I tried to sell this back in March for $2,500, didn't get anyone taking it because of how old it is. It has about 190,000 miles, I think, on it. And then one issue that needs addressed is, since it's been sitting, the valve cover gasket on the left side has started to starts to smoke a little bit when the car is started. I know it's the valve cover gasket. I guarantee it's that. You can look at it when it's running, and after it heats up, you can tell where it's coming from. And it's because it's been sitting for a long time and it hasn't been driven. As for how it drives, the turbo still works. The engine's in great shape. I don't think there's anything wrong with the engine. I've always used Royal Purple in it, and I've always used Redline in the transmission. The transmission, the 84 transmission is a Borg Warner, and they're known to be problematic. And ever since I got this car with 110,000 miles on it, it's always ground from first to second if you either don't shift slow or double clutch. And I've always babied it from first to second, and I've never had an issue with it. But I'm pretty sure if you went out and started hammering on this and jamming it from first to second really fast and trying to race it, you'd probably need to replace the transmission. If you drive it gently like I have, I put 80,000 miles on it driving it like that, you're not going to have any problems with it. But if you beat it into the ground, you're going to want to change it with the newer transmission they put in these, because the Borg Warner transmissions were no good. The T5s are just no good. It does have like a little dent right there. It's actually, I hit a deer with it a long time ago, and that's all the damage it did. It has like a dent right here. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, the tires, what you would need to do to drive this pretty much, I mean, you could inspect it right now and go drive it if you wanted to, but I'd recommend fixing the valve cover gasket on it. The battery's going to need charge too, even though it's new, it's been sitting. I try to be good about it and jump it, and start it once a month, but sometimes I get caught up with stuff and I don't get around to doing it, but I do try to start it once in a while. It did drive up here perfectly. Oh, that's another thing it has. It's expensive. It has brand new e-brake cables on it. I paid between And I know I got taken on this, but I have witnesses to this. I paid $1,000 to have the timing belt done in this and have the e-brake cables changed. And the guy never did the timing belt right the first time, so I had to take it back down and tell him how to do it. There was a big ordeal about that, and it was finally done the right way. But it does have a lot of new parts on it. Like, I took care of this car and I drove it. You know, honestly, I just got tired of it. I'll show you why. I've really fought with selling the car because it's been good to me. I've had it for 14 years, and I think it's been about that long. And I got grown attached to the car, but I have 6 cars, and I just do not need that car anymore. I have an Infiniti G35, and I bought this car too, which I like more than the Nissan because I've had the Nissan and I'm not used to driving that. So that's why I'm getting rid of it. Trying to sell it, I'm going to sell it to someone for like $1,000 or something close to that. And if I don't get any offers, I'm just going to throw it on eBay and take the highest offer. Because at this moment, the reason I'm selling it, even though I kept trying to keep it and kept trying to keep it, is it's too hard to keep up with 6 cars. And I need the storage space because I started buying storage options. So that's the deal. I need to get it out of here because it's just taking up space.